Hello there, welcome to Target Radio's podcast with me, Cookie. Every single week we find different people to speak to, mainly musicians, artists in the unsigned realm of music. And what we do, we have a chat with them, find out a little bit more about them, and obviously explore their music. Now, if you are listening to this on iTunes, please, if you get a chance, give us a 5-star rating if you can. And please make sure you put some comments in there as well. If we're doing something right, that's great. But if we're not doing something as good and you think we could do something better, then please do leave us a message. Let us know. And if you want anything else in the podcast, again, let us know in the comments box. That will be brilliant. Okay, stay tuned then. Today we've got a brilliant artist. Have a listen to this.
Every Monday night.
We'd like to say that, in our opinion, it is not suitable for children.
Every Monday night.
Or for those of you who may have a nervous disposition.
Every Monday night.
And every Monday night.
Then we have a super sound DJ.
Sean Cook.
Good people, it is my pleasure to present to you
Sean Cook.
the one and only
Sean Cook.
Hello, hello, and welcome to the show. Hello, 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 welcome to the show.
So let's have fun.
Now, for those of you watching in black and white, this one is in Technicolor.
Stand by for action.
Oh, Sean Cook.
The original and the best. Well, original anyway, that's me! Good evening, Cookie here for another couple of hours. It's Target Radio. Music for your eardrums. Okay, on tonight's show, Andy Topp-Walker is here, feeling fresh as a daisy. Well, he smells like one anyway. Hopefully we're going to be doing the birthdays this evening, if my assistant is not too busy. I think she's got to pop out though, haven't you, Ruby? Yes, you have. She's nodding. Works well for the radio. And of course, it wouldn't be the Monday night show live here if we didn't have a special guest or two. Well, we've got one special guest, and it's Mr. CJ's. Yes, that youngster, that whippersnapper him. He's going to be joining us a little later in the show. He's going to be talking about all things R&B, mod, bands, live music, and all the bits in between, all the huffing and puffing as well. And if you've never seen young CJ's perform, then you don't know the reference to huffing and puffing. He plays the mouth organ rather splendidly as well. I was going to get on stage with him with my comb and a piece of paper, but apparently that wasn't good enough. Well, you know, tambourines are so yesterday. Music! We got plenty of it. Some of it is signed. A lot of it isn't. That's what Target Radio's all about. Target Radio's ethos is unsigned bands and artists. Fantastic. Okay, catch us on the social media, Facebook. Target Radio live page for presenters, allegedly me. And of course you as a listener. We're also on the Twitter, Tumblr, whatever they call it. And even Instagram. How can you put a radio station on Instagram? I don't know, it's all pictures, isn't it? Well, we're doing it. 40 years of Quadrophenia this year. And of course, up until that date, we're playing nothing but Quadrophenia, the album. And here we go. Here's I've Had Enough. Well, I've only just started. Right, we got a great special guest on the other end of this song. Now, for those who follow the goings-on with CJ's, you'll know just recently he's stopped playing with the Regents. Well, he was the Regents as far as I'm concerned anyway. He was the voice, he was the go-to man, the hype man, and most importantly, he stood there and sung his bits and pieces off, really. And one of the songs I really enjoyed him playing was this song here. So we're going to play this and then hopefully catch young CJs at the other end of this song. I hope you haven't forgotten. Oh, wow, look at that. That was absolutely brilliant. And you can probably hear now that we're a little echoey because we can't get hold of CJs at the moment. Apparently it's unavailable. So we're going to play another song and then hopefully we'll get hold of him. Let's see what we can do after this one. The Marvelettes there with Too Many Fish in the Sea. And hopefully on the other end of this telephone call now, we should have CJs. Hello, good evening.
Hello, I can just about hear.
That's great. That's all you need is just about. How are you, my friend?
Good evening.
Good evening. Let me just turn you up a little more if I may. Whoa, she says. Right, there we go, I think. Let's try now. Hello, are you there?
Hello, I can hear you better.
There we go. I had to turn myself up a little bit. Andy's here as well.
Evening, CJ.
Hello, Andy.
You all right, bub? You all right, fella?
Yeah, all well and good.
Good man, good man.
Brilliant. Oh, I'm a little loud now. I'm going to take my fillings away from my microphone a little bit because I'm a bit tinny. Right, so CJs. Right, let's go through it then. Correct me if I'm wrong. You're 19.
Yeah.
I've got that bit right. There we go. You were college, university, learning painting and decorating. But you've given that up now. Is that correct? You've given it up now?
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah,
Why was that? You just got bored of watching the paint dry or something?
I needed a job. Everyone needs a job.
Now, I've heard through the grapevine, and obviously the grapevine that is Facebook, so everyone really knows what it's about. We haven't got an exclusive on this, but apparently you're into doors and windows. Is that right?
Yes, doors and windows, little firm. In my way.
Fantastic. That is brilliant. And, of course, you are now got a mentor next to you. Well, you will have a mentor next to you because, Andy, you're also into doors and windows, are you?
I know a bit about it, yeah.
You know a little bit about it. How long have you been into doors and windows, Andy?
About 30 years.
There we go. So if you ever need some help, young CJs, Andy's your man.
I'll ask Andy.
Ask Andy, yes. Don't ask Jeeves anymore. Ask Andy.
Ask Andy.
That's it. You're going to be better than Google. Well, when it comes to doors and windows, anyway. So, what made you go out into the big wide world and earning a crust, as they say?
Well, there's a classic scooter in the conservatory that doesn't come cheap, you know.
No. Indeed. So, doors and windows, how long have you been doing that for?
About 2 weeks now.
Wow. Have you had your first week's wages yet?
Getting them this Friday.
Wow, don't be too disappointed when the taxman takes a huge chunk of it. It's horrible. Yes, he earns more than I do. Oh, my goodness me, there we go. Right, so let's get to the business then. Okay, obviously we're not here to talk about doors and windows. Sorry, Andy.
No, that's all right.
You sure? You're crying now. He likes to talk about doors and windows. What's he like?
I'll catch up with CJ about that another time.
Now, we're not going to talk about the Regents, even though I've just played the Regents, because that was your band, and I'm using it as a past tense. For those who are not on Facebook regularly, just explain, just very briefly, why the demise of the Regents in regards that, you stopped playing as part of a four-piece band. Is that right at the moment?
Yeah.
And can I ask the reason why? I mean, obviously, we know from our end there was no falling out or anything, but you just wanted to move forward. Is that right?
No, but we're all still good mates. All talk to each other still.
Yeah.
Just things sometimes look brilliant from the outside, but inside they're not. All it seems. But we're all still good mates. And we all still talk to each other.
Oh, that's good.
So there's no hard feelings between any of us.
No, indeed. And that's always a good thing to have, because obviously you never know when you might rely, they might rely on you for something, or you might need them for something. It's always nice not to cut or burn your bridges, as they say. So that is fantastic. So, So I don't know much more about it. I mean, tell us a bit about what's happened since, obviously, the demise of the Regents. And I see now you've put an advert out for musicians. So tell me, please, what's going on?
Well, I'm still gonna be into music. I always will be. That's for certain. But being an art player is not like pick up a guitar and you can quite easily make you go at it yourself. I need a backing band.
Yeah.
And I need good bluesmen.
Or people. Blues people, yes, keep it equal, you know, because we'll have the girls having a go at us in a minute otherwise. So, now, so blues people, so you're looking for a particular style of music, is that right?
Yes.
Okay, so, you know, obviously with the Regents, we know and love the sort of real raw, and I think that is a good word, Andy. It's the rawness of the Regents when, obviously, when CJ's was fronting it with his mouth organ and everything else, and that's what's the word? Yeah, I can't think of the name. What's the word I'm looking for? I had it in my head in a second, a minute. Euphemism, that's it. It's no euphemism, obviously, with CJ's and his mouth organ.
No, not at all.
No, indeed. But
I've heard it all before.
You have, yeah. Not from me, though. Right. No, I'm only kidding. So, literally, when I've seen you guys play, it's raw energy. Would you really sort of go with that, CJ's?
Yeah, I would agree to that.
Yeah. And the music itself was absolutely brilliant. Now, you didn't have to be a fan of it, Andy, to be fair, of rhythm and blues, a real sort of like raw blues stuff. But you couldn't help it. You were tapping your toe, even minimum. You were tapping your toe
every time.
Every single time. Yeah, absolutely. Some of them actually, you know, both feet got on the floor and started sort of propelling yourself towards the dance floor. Even me, I don't dance. My goodness me! But you couldn't help it.
No, you couldn't. It always filled the dance floor.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I think stage presence for a 19-year-old, and obviously I'm not sort of like talking down to a young man here because you know what you're doing, you know your craft inside out, CJ's. But your stage presence was absolutely of that brilliance. You know, it was really, really good. No, it was really good. Take the credit. But my view was that it sounded brilliant, and I'm going to take a quote here from The Jam. Okay, I will always get to The Jam, don't I, Andy?
You do.
Okay, I think that you could have looked better. Personally, that's just my own perception of it. I know, but probably other people would.
You're gonna have a field day when you see the boys in this
That's
band.
what I wanted to hear. That's where I was going with this.
They don't look like anything like mods.
Brilliant. No, that's the thing. You did with the sideburns. Have you still got the sideburns, by the way?
Oh yeah, they're staying.
They'll always be there. They'll always be
some of the best blues enthusiasts I can find, and boy can they play.
That's it. So obviously you're going to sound brilliant, but most importantly you're going to even look brilliant as well. So you're going to have a sort of a double whammy there, really, aren't you? Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, have you thought of a name for the new band once you get all up and running?
Not yet. I'm seeing everyone on the 31st, so next week on the Wednesday.
Fantastic.
We'll probably sort something out then.
Brilliant. Any sort of like, you got any short sort of like versions of what you want to be called, or are you keeping that all under wraps at the moment?
God knows, yeah. We've just been worrying about the music so far.
That's it. So you can be known as the band for now. There we go. The band.
Now, yes.
The band. Right,
The
Andy,
band.
I'm going to pass you over to you because you've got some intelligent questions now. Better than mine.
I've got a couple of questions that actually Donnie McLeod has actually asked me to ask you, CJ. And
Why didn't he want to do it himself?
He didn't want to come online.
No, he didn't want to.
Or did he? We should have asked.
Where's he
him.
from, Glasgow?
No, he's from Norwich.
Oh, is he?
He's from Norwich.
Oh, right, that's okay then.
Anyway, CJ, Donnie says hello, fella, to start with. And then we go to... What do you want to achieve with your new band, and who will be writing your new material?
In regards to who'll be writing, all of us will, because I don't put anyone down for to take it on an idea which I think's good enough. By all means, let other people know. In regards to achievement, I just want to play some proper blues. That's all.
Excellent. No. Basically, I know where you're coming from with that, mate, because I know how much you're in love with the blues. This basically, you've already answered the next question, but we'll put it to you anyway. Donnie also asks, what artists will influence the direction of the new band?
Oh well, there's people like Robert Johnson, John Locke, Charlie Patton, all really old 1930s blues artists from Mississippi and Greensville and places like that.
The birth of blues, basically.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Indeed. Can I just ask a quick question? Because obviously I'm not going to use your age as a sort of like... Well, yeah, I am going to use your age as well. Now, why is it that a 19-year-old's not into his drum and bass and poor sort of attempts at the top 40, like we were back in the day. Well, I'd say that, obviously I love listening to 60s and stuff like that myself. But where did you get your music taste from?
God knows.
I'll ring him up later. Great answer. I'll ask him later. I'll give him a ring. I think I've got the hotline to God.
Well, all the 60s stuff were cover bands and old blues songs that people did. Rolling Stones, the Yardbirds, Eric Clapton, all respected, brilliant musicians in the 60s were just playing blues.
Yeah.
That's I decided. There's got to be more to the Yardbirds. There's got to be more to Rod Stewart than the Faces,
Well, absolutely, yeah.
People than these famous pop songs they did.
Well, I'll be honest with you now with with Tinternet and everything else that we have now of our fingertips with laptops and computers and everything in between. We can explore music so much easier now. Literally, you type in a name and you get the whole reference, the whole back catalogue. You can explore music, and the good thing about music is you can always go back and find your favourite tracks, and you can obviously then explore. Is that something you do regularly?
Yeah, I'm regularly playing stuff that the Kings have covered or the Rolling Stones have covered, but it's been written in the 30s by some bloke on a guitar in a street corner.
Yeah, absolutely. Like you said, you mentioned John Lee Hooker. I mean, that is exactly who he was. He was just literally, a guy listening to his music, tapping his toe, and I think got picked up by a record. You probably know the story better than I, but got picked up by a record company, and as they say, the rest is history. I mean, John Lee Hooker is a go-to sort of source, really, when you come to real blues music. I mean, the man absolutely breathed blues.
Right.
Indeed, absolutely. Right, Andy, I think you're itching for another question.
I was, but you almost covered all the questions I had in mind.
Oh, for goodness sake. Make one up, then.
Right, so, CJ, how many of the artists, or should I say musicians, do you actually have in the band at present?
Well, there's going to be 4. There's a good friend of mine, Tony Camp, who is into the mod scene. What a lot of people may not know about him, he has an extensive blues record collection, which I wish I could have. He's going to be playing guitar and vocals. We've got, funny enough, someone I used to go to school with but never actually met on bass. He used to come from my village, but I never met him till the other week. And we got a man called John Kane on the drums, who's been playing blues drums for all of his life, and he looks like he's just come out of ZZ Top, which is amazing. Wow. And there's me just playing harp, really, and dropping in for a couple of vocals when needed, but mainly I'm going to be sticking to the harp.
So you're not going to be lead singing?
Well, there'll be songs which I will sing now and again, but I've done the front man stuff. I've always loved playing the harp. I feel like I want to explore that a bit more.
No, fair play. And have you actually had any lessons playing the harp?
How rude!
Well, no, because I'm amazed because I heard you. I actually heard you hadn't.
Called Giles King, who taught me a couple of things, which was very helpful, and the rest I've just listened or seen videos and worked stuff out for myself. But they were the lessons I had. I didn't have many of them, but they were a great help.
No, I only asked the question because I heard that you hadn't, and I believed that you were self-taught, and I thought that was amazing anyway. So I just wanted that to be confirmed.
Sort of semi-self-taught.
Well, I think that's a good thing because you go back to our musicians of yesterday. Your Townsends, your Roger Daltrys, even Paul Wellers and things like. I've got to jam one in there again. They're all self-taught, mate. You ask any of them who taught you to play the guitar or something. Well, no one. I just learned it myself. Listen to music, listen to the chords, listen to the sounds, and reproduced it. And they're all self-taught.
If you can listen to it, then you can get it down.
Well, I'll be honest with you. I saw the transformation because I don't obviously get out a lot. I'm not allowed out of my box that much, to be honest with you, see. But when I saw you at Hoxton Square in East London, near where you live in Essex, You were playing on the harp then. That's a mouth organ for everyone else that don't know what a harp is. And you were absolutely brilliant then. And that's before I knew that you took some, shall we say, a couple of extra lessons.
Yeah, I'm taking a couple of extra lessons.
That's it.
Now, and
we kept telling you to breathe out. You were just breathing in, and now you're doing the both. You know.
Yeah. Well, a lot of people were surprised when I put that video out because a lot of people just thought it was me singing.
Yeah.
And it was just machine harp on it, but
no, it's actually you.
Me. As you say, I've got a lot better.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, though, what a terrible sound that was, wasn't it? Not you guys, but the sound setup itself at the venue.
No,
I'll tell you, we should have kicked him squarely in the, the gentleman's bits and pieces there, because so cool sound engineer. I think he was deaf. But you boys, you've done a really good night. That was a really good night, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. And obviously, I've seen you a few times since when you've done Holroyd Arms over here in Guildford. And you guys were absolutely, you were blowing the audience away, literally. They were digging what you were doing. I love that word, digging. And purposely, I stopped doing what I was doing just to listen to you mature as a sort of a musician and a human being. And you were like 99.9% so much better than you were a few months prior to that. So obviously you've put a lot of effort and work into what's something you really enjoy.
Well, if I'm not out on a night, I normally come in from work and just practice.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what I love doing. Unless I'm going out to a jam night or something like that, I'm practicing. I mean, I always have my harp with me, even when I go out.
That's a good thing, because obviously, it's a good job you're not a drummer, really, isn't it? Because obviously that would be a bit harder. But mouth organs.
It's quite nice when there's a straight musician and you can, if you're in there, you ask, can I drop in with you? And he said yes. That's happened a couple of times. That's good fun.
Now, the mouth organ's not used regularly as, shall we say, the guitar, drums, bass guitar, and even keyboards and Hammond organ and things like that. So what sort of made you take to the organ itself, the harp, as we call it?
There was a song years ago, like very, very first lineup of the band that I've now left, that needed it, and it was a very simple riff. So I learnt that, and I sort of enjoyed doing it. So I thought I want to do this a bit more.
Yeah, indeed.
That's probably about.
That is brilliant. Yeah, absolutely brilliant. And for those who have not seen you go out and play live. They're missing a treat, really, because, I'm going back to the Regents, obviously, because I've got nothing to compare at the moment. When you was with the Regents, you've played really at some real iconic venues. We're talking about Brighton, East London, to name a couple. But you've also shared a stage with, one of my sort of superheroes of Quadrophenia, haven't you?
Yes, that was Phil Daniels back in Brighton. I can't remember. Was it 2012?
2016, I think it was, mate.
Something like that, yeah.
2016.
And there's a little bit of footage on YouTube if you dare to have a look on YouTube itself.
Yeah, there's some of it knocking about on there.
It's brilliant, absolutely brilliant. And to be honest with you, you haven't blooming changed apart from your sideburns growing. It's made you look slightly older.
I've got one of those faces that I think will just look like it is forever,
I used to think that, and then I got old. No, you're absolutely right. You have got a young-looking face, and I think, we was talking about this, Andy and I, before obviously got you on the blower, and it's the expression there, blower. You understand it. You see,
very clever.
That was very clever.
I know that apples and pears.
Apples and pears, sort all that out. His favourite show, EastEnders, sort it out. Right. We were talking about first generation, second generation, which I think Andy and I pretty much sort of fit into that category of second generation mod, sort of 77 onwards. Andy.
Yeah, that's me.
So third generation, when did it start for you?
Oh God! So I've never dressed chavvy or anything. I've never ever been into the drum and bass stuff, as you said. So it was always sort of there. If that makes sense. It was never something to get into. It was just sort of lingering without me knowing.
Now, some will say, obviously, the second generation and the third generation mod. Is there really a third generation, Andy? Because did the second generation really go away, or did it just sort of went a bit quiet for a while?
I think it just went a bit quiet for a little while. Now the second generation have now come to an age where most of them, I might add, have had
Grown up?
Grown up, but their children are no longer young, so it's now giving them that much more time to go back and actually enjoy the scene that they left behind.
Yeah. Would you say that yourself, CJs? Obviously, what's your main sort of like age of audience?
Well, anyone who enjoys good music.
Now that is an answer. That's a politician answer, but it's a good answer, isn't it? So what would you say statistically?
If I like, there's a lot of music which I would put on. A lot of people would think twice about it, but I mean stuff like Ballroom and Blitz, Golden Earring, stuff like that I love. I mean, I've even got it on vinyl. If it's a good song,
yeah,
it's a good song.
Indeed. Now, rehearsals, obviously, you are a stickler to rehearsals. You work very, very hard behind the scenes. Obviously, what we see is really the tip of the iceberg when you're out on stage and, doing what you do, what you love doing. But how much rehearsals do you do to get to that point?
We're going to try and aim for one a week.
Okay, and obviously without trying to run before you can walk, are you looking at maybe trying to release a few extra songs on an EP later down the line and things like that?
To be fair, it's all a bit of gorillas in the mist. We're just going to see what's going to happen Wednesday and take it from there.
Fantastic. And have you had any time to sort of play together yet, or is it just literally just getting...
Not all together yet, but
No.
I luckily, with the power of Facebook and YouTube, I have seen how these people play, so it's good because I know what I'm going to get myself into.
Excellent. And
I know what to expect from everyone who...
Yes, indeed. And are you going to be the leader of the band, or is it going to be a sort of a four-way split? Is it all going to be sort of an equal?
Four-way split, without doubt, because we all have an interest in the same music, so...
That helps, doesn't it? Okay, welcome to Target Radio Podcast, and we're doing a little bit in the middle of our podcast from now on in, basically just to advertise a couple of special events that are coming your way very soon. With me now, I've got Andy Topp-Walker, who's helping with the March of the Mods, which is Saturday the 21st of March, 2020, so that's next year, kick-starting off at 1 o'clock all the way through till 1 a.m. Andy, 12 hours, mate, that's a long time.
12 hours of wonderful music.
It's going to be wonderful music. So who's appearing on March of the Mods 2020 at the Holroyd Arms? That's in Guildford.
It's in Guildford, and I'm pleased to announce that from the Chords UK, we actually have Chris Pope.
Wow.
And he's going to be doing an acoustic set for us.
Okay, that sounds good.
We also have The Aim, The Spirals, The Sonics.
Who else we got?
Then we've got The Modern Apes. And then we're followed by, it's great to announce that the Trojan Beats are actually going to be there as well. We also have the 48Ks there.
Now that is a great band.
Absolutely. So looking forward to hearing them.
Fantastic.
Them. A new up-and-coming young band called the Lightscopes.
And anything else?
And then we're having a bit of a Q&A session going
Question
on.
and answers, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah. With modzines.
Ah, now, is that something to do with one Eddie Pillar?
I believe it is.
Wow. Now, we're going to be asking questions to Eddie?
No, I believe he's going to be asking the questions to some very special guests.
Oh, the great Eddie Pillar live on the stage area of March of the Mods 2020, and that's on the 21st of March at the Holroyd Arms. Target Radio, we're going to be recording the whole event live. Brilliant. And how do we get tickets, please?
You can, if you go on to Mods and More, we've got an advert going up there. Just click on the link and that takes you directly into the tickets.
Brilliant.
You can also do the same, obviously, here on Target Radio. Click onto the link, take you directly into the tickets. And then also on most of the great Facebook pages that are out there that have actually offered to promote this great cause.
That is fantastic. Brilliant stuff. And how much does the tickets cost?
The tickets are £10 in advance. And if you're lucky enough to turn up on the day, and there are still availability, it's £15 on the door.
Brilliant, excellent. Right, okay, so that's March of the Mods, Saturday, the 21st of March, 2020. Kick starts at 1 p.m. Don't be late.
Don't be late.
Okay, and you're going to look great. Bring a change of clothes because we're going to get hot and sweaty in there. Going right the way through till 1 o'clock in the morning. Do you think you can do 12 hours? Now, are we going to see CJs and the rest of the gang, okay, the rest of the band, because we haven't got a name for you yet, are we going to see you in Burton suits very soon?
Ooh, don't know yet.
Oh, there we go. So if there's any sponsors out there that want to sponsor the band, because that's all we can use at the moment, and fit them out with some really fine-looking attire, I'm sure you're not going to walk away from that offer, are you?
It depends what the tire is, you say. If it's a dress, then...
Well, CJ's, I've always said, mate, that you've had the knees for a dress, but don't tell anyone, all right? Hang on. Did I just say that out now, Andy?
You did.
Oh, dear, right. That was only supposed to be for a Sunday evening. Okay, right, sorry about that, see? Oh, dear. I'll tell you what, though, like going back to, here we go, back to the jam again. To look the part and sing the part, you've pretty much got all the bases covered there, haven't you, really, though?
Well, yeah. Until we see the new band, because it's quite funny.
Yeah.
We also, if we're all in, like, if no one knew we were a band, and it would look like we had no purpose being friends or whatsoever, but through the power of music and just general good people, we're all getting along really nicely so far. Brilliant.
That's the main thing. As long as you're enjoying yourself and having fun, that's the main point of the whole point of doing this, isn't it? I mean, I've spoken to many musicians in the past, you know, some signed bands, you know, like Chris Pope from the Chords and stuff. And obviously he's been on Top of the Pops, you know, he's sort of done the rounds as such. But when I spoke to him off air, he actually told me, he goes, sorry about that, Cookie. I said, what's the matter? Because I couldn't get hold of him straight away. And he goes, I've got his mobile phone, but it doesn't ring, it's broken. The rich and famous, not so rich and famous. You know, everyone is cast the same. And, you know, to be a musician, a lot of people say, well, you know, you're never going to be rich and famous anymore, not like it was back in the day. And obviously, people do have visions of grandeur, thinking, oh, they'll release 2 songs and they're going to be rich and famous and live on their laurels for the rest of their life. But most musicians will turn around and say, no, unless your name's Milli Vanilli. Yes, there's a name check for you.
Visions of grandeur, I reckon, could be quite achievable.
Yeah, absolutely. And my view, well, what I'm trying to get to is that you do it because you love to play music. Is that right?
I do, yeah. I mean, if someone said to me, like, you can have everything you want in the world, you can pour it, but never play harp again, or you can play harp in a dive bar where it's rotting and it's a proper pub, I'll pick that.
Yeah.
Any day of the week.
Well, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, what's your go-to music venue yourself? I mean, you know, when you're not actually, you know, harping and playing and singing and doing all the other bits and pieces that you were.
Pelton Arms, mainly,
okay.
On the end of the month every night. There's a brilliant blues jam night.
Excellent. So get yourself down there, guys, if you love your blues and everything. Obviously, while CJ's is getting his The Band sorted out. It would be funny if they called themselves The Band, wouldn't it? Andy, have you got any other questions?
I do have. I have one more question for you, CJ. Now, I totally respect, and I was blown away with your announcement, the fact that the Regents had party company. Just on the eve, shall we say, of one of the biggest performances that you were invited to, which was obviously Quad 40. How did that actually influence your decision?
Kind of, because it would have been very nice to play it, but at the time, now I wasn't 100% with it, and there's the reputation that I've built up on stage is that I always feel like I'm giving it 100%. I don't think I would have been able to do that on the stage, which would have been unfair to Gary and everyone else who would come to see us, because they would have been expecting something that I couldn't deliver.
That's a great answer, CJ. To be honest, I didn't.
I'd rather cancel it than risk it.
No,
especially something that big.
Fair play to you, mate. As I say, I had a good idea, but I just really wanted you to say it so everybody out there could actually hear the fact that CJ is genuine.
Yeah, I totally agree with you, Andy. Yeah, I mean, for a young man, he's got a very mature look upon others, sort of like, how can we say, expectations. So my view would be that why play if you're not happy or it doesn't work in a band, even though the Regents worked.
The music would have been good, and it just would have been able to show.
Yeah, indeed. I mean, I love all the other 3 guys. You know, they're fantastic musicians in their own right. But as you quite rightly said, they weren't of the mod influence as such, were they?
That didn't bother me as much. It was other things. as well. As you said, they are good musicians, but for what we were trying to play, it wouldn't have worked. It would have worked if we were playing a different type of music or a different drummer, yes, but for the blues, it wouldn't have worked. And I think I found the right people.
Now that is good. So just we were so shocked at first, Andy and myself. You know, we actually spoke to each other and went, oh, "Have you seen the news?"
Yeah.
You know, it was like it's some sort of royalty had passed away or something, because we were really quite shocked. We didn't know obviously at the time what the aspects was, and we thought, "Oh my goodness me, they've all had a ding dong." You know, you think the worst case scenario, don't you? You know, band split up, so you think, oh, well, they've had a big ruck, they'll be all right. They'll patch it up tomorrow. And obviously, obviously speaking with your good self, CJs, and obviously with Andy, amongst everything else, we realised then what a professional turnaround that you've actually sort of manifested there, really, to be honest with you. Mm-hmm. Don't want to cheat the audience, and you want to be true to the audience, which, for me, ticks every box.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'd rather give it the best than lie. Because I wouldn't be able to talk good about myself doing that anyway. So.
Well, absolutely. Now, moving forward, then, obviously with the band, are you going to be still doing? I know a lot of your music was original stuff that you've done, but I know you've done a couple of covers here and there. Walking the Dog, etc. Are you going to be sort of concentrating heavily on your own material, or will it be a little balance there with some covers as well?
A little balance of both, but the covers are going to be very. I mean, if you're expecting, say, the Kinks or Small Faces or stuff like that, it's sadly say not going to happen. It's going to be stuff like Slim Harpo, Johnny Hooker, one of the early Rod Stewart songs, a bit of ZZ Top,
Indeed. Now that sounds good. That sounds refreshing, and most importantly, I don't think. To my knowledge, I know. Do you know actually, Andy, as well? Are there any other sort of R&B bands out there that don't? They just do covers. I don't think there's many R&B bands out there anyway. I think there's mod cover bands.
There isn't. I don't know of any.
No, I don't know off the top of my head any. There might be one or two sort of floating around, but they're not really proficient. And I think you will be, CJs, because obviously you've got the backing of us here on the station. And, of course, any material you want us to play in the interim period until you guys get out and ready to rock and roll, as they say.
I do. I appreciate all the help, especially everyone's interest after I made the announcement, because I try to make it very clear as possible. I'm now going to make a blues band.
No, that sounds good.
It's not going to be aimed at a particular type of people, such as like AKA mods. It's aimed for everyone.
No.
But to me, the mods have always listened to blues music, because they've always listened to stuff like the Yardbirds, the Rolling Stones, which played blues covers.
Yes, I have,
from America. So it's like yesterday I watched a video of Champion Jack Dundee.
Oh, right, yeah.
And in the audience, there were just mods. So mod music to me has always been blues.
Yeah. They say all good music comes from blues.
Blues and jazz.
Blues and jazz, yeah. Or jazz and blues. Whatever way you want to put it. They're fine pieces of music. And, like you say, back in the sort of early 60s, late 50s, early 60s, when the mod movement started to materialise. I know it was only a short-lived back in the 60s, believe it or not. It was only around for about 3 years. But you're right, it was all the American GIs bringing over their sort of like...
bringing over their blues records,
bringing their blues records over. And, of course, the Italian style of the cloth, the cloth moth. And obviously the scooters, and then obviously the music. That's where the sort of modernism started from, really. So, we've got to thank the Americans for something, so we might as well thank them for their blues music.
Yes, the amount of times I wish I could go over there to take a walk down like B Street and stuff like that and see the Chess Studio.
CJ, you've still got plenty of time.
Oh, mate, yeah. You've only
just... One day, before it gets knocked down.
You wait and see.
It will never get knocked down. It's iconic. It won't get knocked down. Well, it better not get knocked down. If it does, I'll send Andy out there, because he'll sort them all out. So...
windows and doors in.
Absolutely. Right, back to reality then. Are you at work tomorrow?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, no. What time do you start?
Yeah, smart.
What time do you start?
7 till 3.
That's not bad hours, is it?
7 till 3? What's that, half day?
Half a day, mate, honestly. Half a day. They're breaking him in gently, I reckon.
That's nice.
Oh, that's
It's 3
great.
hours, 'cause I only live like 5 minutes away, so I get home for tea.
Get home for tea. There we go.
Yeah.
Hey, run off home and go for your tea. That's another jam quote there. Sorry, but I do apologise. So that is brilliant. Now, obviously, we can't sort of like point people into the social media side yet because obviously you've not even got a name for the band. But obviously, if you want to follow CJ's on Facebook, please do so. I know that it gets lonely up there sometimes, doesn't it, CJ? So you need all the help and friends that you can get. Is that right? He's having a cup of tea there. Can you hear him? Are you having a cup of tea, mate?
Yeah.
Oh, for goodness. Oh, he's been at work all day. Well, half a day anyway.
I've been standing up for 8 hours. It's all right.
Didn't get us a blooming cup of tea, did he? What's he lie? So if you want to follow you on social media, what's the best sort of pages to go for at the moment?
Just my Facebook page, really, because that's the one I mainly use.
Yeah.
I can't deal with two. I'll get too confused.
Oh, my goodness me. Oh, what a pain. There we go. That's enough of the glass jokes. Right, so back to work tomorrow. And then when are you actually all meeting up in the rehearsal studio? Is it this week, you said?
Wednesday.
Wednesday. Are you looking forward to it?
Yeah. I can't wait. It's been a long... I thought it would take much longer to get a band together. So to get one this quick and such good musicians as well.
Yeah.
With such a clear understanding of what they want to do, similar to what I want to do, is absolutely amazing. I can't wait.
Brilliant. And not lastly, but in addition to all of that, how's the family?
What's that? Sorry, I couldn't hear you. There's movement in my house.
Oh, for goodness sake. Tell them to be quiet, for goodness sake. How's the family? How's your mum and dad?
They're all right. They're all good. God knows
Excellent.
what they're getting up to where I'm at work. Probably off out, spending money or something. I don't know.
That's it, yeah. You know, you're bringing home the bacon, and what are they doing? They're just spending it all.
There's something in the fridge like it wasn't there yesterday.
Oh, he's so funny, isn't he? It's brilliant. Andy, have you got anything else you'd like to add?
No, I don't think so. No, I think
brilliant.
we've covered
Okie
everything.
dokie. So as soon as you get something ready, pass it over to here at Target Radio, and we'll obviously give it an airing. Hey, that's what we want to hear. Woo! Come on, that is brilliant. Brilliant. Right, well, I'll tell you what, you're going to need your rest, young man, because obviously you're back to work tomorrow.
Thank you very much for having me.
No, you're very welcome. Thanks for hopping on this evening. And we wish you all the success in the whole world. And we truly do mean that from the heart, because
Thank you very much.
I know Andy's going to be chatting to you in the very, very near future. In fact, maybe within the next couple of weeks. Is that right, Andy?
I will be, yes.
That's it. We're not saying no more, CJs, okay? But it is good. It's good because of what Andy's got up his sleeve, and apart from his arm. That's it. And nothing to do with your panes of glass or doors or anything else. I don't know. I do actually know, but obviously I'm not going to say anything on air.
So I'll look forward to finding out.
That's Excellent. It. Right, anyway, for now then, we'll let you... Have you had your tea or not yet?
Well, it's halfway there. It's a big tea. It's a big mug of tea.
Oh, there we go. We're going to let you finish your big mug of tea then. Thanks ever so much for jumping on this evening.
No problem. Thank you very much.
And don't forget to check out our podcast. That will be around in about 2 to 3 weeks' time with young CJs there talking about everything R&B, blues, jazz, and all the whole bits in between, and including a big mug of tea. How about that?
A big mug of tea.
For now then, let's give CJs a big round of applause! Woo! And we'll catch you soon, my friend.
Cheers, CJ. Take care, fella.
Thank you very much.
See you soon. Bye now.
Bye.
Bye. Wow, there we go. CJ's there. I'll tell you what. Oh, where are we? Hang on. There we go. Much better now. What I was going to say is, do you think he's really grown up?
He's always had wise head on those shows.
Do you know, he's such a young mind with such a sort of like a mature outlook. Mm-hmm. Unbelievable, Jeff, honestly. And you're going to say, I'll say, who's Jeff?
I was going to say, who's Jeff?
Yeah, proper there. Finishing off yet another train wreck of a show. Oh, dear. You've been wonderful. We'll see you all again next week. Don't forget, we've got Johnny Blaze live. When I say live, he's actually going to be live in the studio, and we're going to be doing a Oasis tribute night. Okay, so we'll still be playing your mods, and you're playing your rock and stuff, and obviously your R&B and jazz and everything in between, all your lovely stuff. But we are going to be throwing in the mix some live stuff of Oasis. How's that sound, Andy?
Sounds excellent.
Brilliant. Okay, thank you very much indeed. Say goodbye, Andy.
Goodbye, Andy.